In the void of space where the laws of Earth no longer applied and the stars whispered secrets of the universe, Captain Nathaniel Sterling stood at the helm of the UES Vanguard. His gaze was fixed on the sprawling cosmos, a tapestry of darkness pierced by the relentless twinkling of distant suns. Each star, a story; each planet, a promise of untold mysteries or hidden threats. Today, as the frontier of human exploration expanded further into the unknown, Sterling's heart thrummed with a mix of anticipation and a bone-deep dread that had haunted him since his youth on the raided colonies. The year was 2453, and humanity, thriving on its technological prowess, had reached far into the Milky Way, claiming and colonizing with both audacity and arrogance. The galactic frontier, a vast expanse at the edge of known space, was their latest canvas, a place of uncharted worlds and lawless beauty, where every new system charted could mean a fortune made or a first contact gone awry. Captain Sterling, a seasoned explorer and a decorated officer, was no stranger to the dangers and wonders of deep space. Raised on a frontier colony that often bore the brunt of pirate raids and alien skirmishes, he had learned early that the galaxy was not just vast and beautiful, but also vicious and unpredictable. His ship, the UES Vanguard, was humanity's bulwark against the cosmos chaos, equipped with the latest armaments and an experimental engine that promised speeds unfathomable. But as the Vanguard sailed through the star-studded darkness, a distress signal abruptly pierced the silence of the bridge, snapping Sterling back from his reverie. The signal was weak, its origin unclear, but unmistakably close. The coordinates led them dangerously near the Thelmar cluster, a region sacred to the Thelmarian species, known for their fierce protection of their territory, and an even fiercer distrust of humans. Sterling's hands clenched at the console. The memory of alien fires lighting up the skies of his childhood home sent a shiver down his spine. The Thelmarians had never attacked human colonies outright, but their warnings were clear. This space was theirs, consecrated by ancient rites and guarded by their fleets. "Sir, should we investigate the signal?" his first officer, Commander Lucas Kane, asked, breaking the tension that had thickened the air. Sterling's jaw tightened. Ignoring the signal could mean leaving someone to die in the cold embrace of space, a fate he wouldn't wish on his worst enemy. But responding could thrust them into a confrontation with the Thelmarians, potentially sparking a conflict that could ripple through the galaxy. "Prepare the ship for a cautious approach. Raise shields and ready all diplomatic channels," Sterling ordered, his voice steady despite the turmoil within. "We're going into the Thelmar cluster. Let's find out who's calling for help and why." As the Vanguard adjusted its course, the stars seemed to realign, setting the stage for an encounter that would test not only Sterling's mettle, but the very future of human-alien relations. The unknown beckoned, as full of peril as it was of promise. The UES Vanguard, a sleek behemoth of dark metal and shimmering lights, cut through the vacuum of space like a knife through velvet darkness. Captain Nathaniel Sterling's hands were steady on the controls, his eyes scanning the myriad of displays that flickered with data, charts, graphs, and real-time images of the space that lay ahead. The bridge was alive with the quiet hum of activity, the air charged with a palpable tension as the crew prepared for what might come. Sterling's mind was a whirlwind of strategy and memory. The Vanguard was not just his command, it was his responsibility, a floating bastion of Earth's ambition and its fears. The ship's mission had begun as a routine exploration and mapping expedition, aimed at charting new trade routes that could potentially link the far-flung colonies scattered across human-controlled sectors. But the distress signal had changed everything, injecting a dose of reality into their exploratory dreams. Commander Lucas Kane approached Sterling, his expression somber. "We're approaching the coordinates of the distress signal, Captain. All scans are active, but so far it's quiet, too quiet." Sterling nodded, his gaze never leaving the main viewport. The stars seemed to stare back at him, indifferent to the dramas of humans and their interstellar squabbles. "Keep all sensors on high alert, Lucas. Whatever or whoever sent that signal knew what they were doing. It's no coincidence, it's this close to the Thelmar cluster." As the Vanguard neared the coordinates, The sophisticated sensors picked up an anomaly. It was a small, seemingly derelict craft, adrift and barely holding together. Its design was unfamiliar, not matching any known human or alien make. "Life signs?" Sterling asked, his voice cutting through the bridge's buzz. "Uncertain, sir. The craft's systems are nearly dead. If there's anyone alive, they're running on minimal life support," replied Ensign Harper, the ship's sensor expert, her fingers flying over her console as she probed for more data. "Prepare a boarding party. We're going to see if there are any survivors," Sterling decided, turning to his security chief. "And keep your eyes open. This could still be a trap." The boarding party was small, equipped with the latest in survival and combat gear. As they made their way to the shuttle bay, the mood among them was grim. Sterling watched them go, his chest tight with worry. Every commander knew the risks of space: pirates, rogue AI, unknown pathogens. But the biggest risk was always the unknown, the uncharted, the unseen. In the shuttle bay, the air was thick with the electric scent of ozone and grease. The boarding shuttle, a nimble craft named the Valkyrie, was prepped and ready. As the boarding team strapped in, Lieutenant Mira Banerjee, the team leader, checked her gear one last time. Her face was set, her eyes hard with resolve. She met Sterling's gaze as he came to see them off, nodding once, a silent promise to bring everyone home safe. The Valkyrie detached from the vanguard, with a gentle shudder, making its way towards the drifting craft. As it docked, the team's comms crackled to life, Sterling's voice a steady presence in their ears. "Remember, look for survivors, secure any data, and be ready for anything. We don't know what's waiting for you over there." Inside the derelict vessel, the darkness was near total, the air stale and cold. The beam of their flashlights cut through the gloom, revealing a cabin strewn with debris and signs of a struggle. As they moved deeper into the ship, they found it, a chamber with cryopods, one of them still occupied. The figure inside was alien, unlike any species documented by human explorers. Its features were sharp, its skin a pale blue, and it was clearly in distress. The pod's life support systems flickering weakly. Banerjee signaled her team, her voice a whisper. "We have a live one. Looks alien." Harper housed the ship, no traps detected, but the craft's power is almost gone. "We need to move quickly, if we're going to save this one," Harper responded, her hands already on the pod's controls. Back on the Vanguard, Sterling waited, every second stretching out like an eternity. This mission had just turned from a routine exploration into a first contact scenario. The galaxy watched, breath held, as humanity once again ventured into the unknown. The Valkyrie's return to the UES Vanguard was swift, its cargo a living mystery from the derelict ship. As the shuttle docked smoothly in the hangar, the atmosphere among the crew was one of subdued anticipation mixed with a tinge of apprehension. Captain Nathaniel Sterling stood by the airlock, awaiting the first alien survivor ever encountered in such a dire circumstance. As the airlock doors hissed open, Lieutenant Mira Banerjee led her team out, the alien securely contained within a portable life support unit designed for unknown biological entities. The creature was more delicate in appearance up close, its translucent skin shimmering slightly under the hangar lights, chest rising and falling with shallow, labored breaths. Emily Zhao, the ship's chief medical officer, approached with her team, their equipment ready to stabilize and study their unexpected guest. "We'll need to be extremely careful," she murmured to Sterling, as they watched the alien being wheeled toward the medical bay. "Its physiology is unlike anything in our databases. I'm not even sure what atmosphere it breathes yet." Sterling nodded, his expression grave. "Keep me updated, Emily. Every piece of information is crucial." In the medical bay, the alien was transferred to a specially prepared quarantine unit where Zhao and her team worked meticulously to stabilize its condition. The bay was a flurry of activity, with monitors beeping and screens flashing data at a frenetic pace. Despite the advanced technology at their disposal, the team moved with cautious respect for the fragility of their patient's life. Meanwhile, Sterling convened a meeting with his senior officers in the conference room. The walls of the room were lined with screens displaying the alien's vital signs and the slowly stabilizing readings. "This is no ordinary first contact," Sterling began, his voice steady despite the swirling thoughts in his head. "We have a responsibility here, not just to this individual, but to the potential diplomatic ramifications. Our actions could set the tone for human-alien relations going forward." Commander Lucas Kane, his features taut with concern, leaned forward. "Do we have any idea where it came from?" "That ship had no markings or identifiers that we could use." Sterling shook his head. "Nothing. And that ship was in bad shape. Looked like it had been through a skirmish. We need to consider the possibility that this being was fleeing from something or someone." The discussion turned to the broader implications of the encounter. Strategic Officer Lieutenant Commander Julia Vance highlighted the proximity to the Thelmar cluster. "We're not far from Thelmarian space. If this alien species is unknown to us, it might not be to the Thelmarians. We should tread carefully, avoid any misunderstandings." Sterling agreed, his mind already on the next steps. "Prepare a communication to the Thelmarian command. Let them know what we've found and assure them of our peaceful intentions." Back in the medical bay, Zhao made a breakthrough. The alien, though weak, began to show signs of recovery under her team's careful adjustments to the life support system. Its eyes fluttered open, revealing irises that shimmered like liquid gold, and it looked around with an expression of confusion and fear. Zhao, maintaining a soothing tone, spoke gently to the alien, her words broadcasted through a universal translator. "You're safe here. We're here to help you." To everyone's astonishment, the alien responded. Its voice was musical, the words distorted through the translator, but clear enough. "Where am I?" Sterling, who had returned to the medical bay in time to hear the exchange, felt a weight lift slightly. This was a moment of truth, an opportunity for understanding. He stepped closer to the quarantine unit, his voice calm and welcoming. "You're aboard the UES Vanguard, a human exploration ship. I am Captain Nathaniel Sterling. You were found in a damaged ship, and we brought you here to help." The alien studied him, its gaze piercing yet not unkind. "I am Alara," it said, the name resonant with a subtle musicality that the translator could barely capture. Sterling nodded, acknowledging the gravity of the moment. "Welcome, Alara. Let's talk." As the ship hummed quietly through the cosmos, the stars outside seemed to watch, waiting to see what bridges or barriers would be built from this fateful encounter. On the bridge of the UES Vanguard, the tension was palpable. Captain Nathaniel Sterling stood before the main viewport, gazing out at the infinite expanse of space, now heavy with the weight of the unknown. Behind him, the crew worked quietly, each member fully aware of the ship's unprecedented situation. The alien named Alara, now recovering in the medical bay, represented a new frontier in human-alien interaction, one that could either open doors to invaluable alliances or usher in an era of increased hostilities, depending on how the next hours unfolded. "Captain, we've established a secure line to the Thelmarian command," announced Lieutenant Harper, her voice cutting through the low murmur of the bridge. She adjusted the communication console, preparing for what could be one of the most crucial conversations in human space exploration history. Sterling took a deep breath and nodded, turning to face the screen. "Put them through, Lieutenant." The image flickered to life, revealing the stern visage of Admiral Xylix, commander of the Thelmarian fleet, his features marked by the distinguished bearing of his species. His eyes, a deep shade of violet, regarded Sterling with a mixture of curiosity and caution. "Admiral Xylix, this is Captain Nathaniel Sterling of the human warship Vanguard," Sterling began, his tone respectful yet confident. "We have encountered an alien vessel carrying a lone survivor from an unknown species in a sector near your space. We seek to understand their origin and ensure their safety." Xylix's brow furrowed slightly, a sign of his contemplation. "Captain Sterling, your actions have wandered into a delicate arena. The Thelmar cluster is sacred to us, and any foreign activity so near our borders arouses significant concern." Sterling acknowledged the Admiral's worries with a nod. "I understand, Admiral, and it's not our intention to provoke or trespass. We acted purely in the interest of saving a life. The individual, Alara, does not appear to belong to any known species in our ore. I suspect your records. Alara, Silex repeated, the name seeming to resonate with him. After a moment of silence, he spoke again. This matter is unprecedented. However, your transparent handling of this situation is noted. We will observe your actions closely. Keep us informed, Captain. Thank you, Admiral. We hope to maintain open communication and foster a mutual understanding, Sterling replied, the screen fading as the communication ended. He let out a breath he hadn't realized he'd been holding. The immediate crisis averted, but the path forward remained shrouded in uncertainty. Back in the medical bay, Dr. Emily Zhao was making progress with Alara. The alien had adapted to their atmosphere adjustments, and her strength was visibly returning. Zhao, along with a cultural liaison officer, Ensign Raj Patel, had begun to compile a dossier on Alara's language and cultural expressions, which revealed her to be a scholar of her people, dedicated to the study of interstellar anomalies and peacekeeping. Alara, can you tell us more about where you come from? What led you to be in this region of space? Zhao asked gently, her recorder capturing every word for later analysis. Alara's voice was soft, a contrast to her striking appearance. My world is Iridia, a planet of scholars and explorers. We seek to understand the universe, to chart its mysteries and ensure the peace of its many voices. My journey was to observe and learn, but I was caught in a skirmish by unknown aggressors. I fled, and my ship was damaged. The information was invaluable, and Sterling knew it could help mitigate any potential conflicts, especially with the Thelmarians. If they could prove that Alara and her people were peaceful, it might ease the tension surrounding their breach of the sacred cluster. With Alara's consent, Sterling arranged for her to share her story directly with the Thelmarians, hoping her testament of peace and scholarship would resonate with them, bridging the gap between fear and understanding. As the stars continued their ceaseless dance across the cosmos, the UES Vanguard, once merely a vessel of human ambition, now carried the hopes of more than just humanity. It carried the potential for a new era of interstellar diplomacy, where the voice of a single alien could sway the vast and varied tapestries of galactic power. In the depths of space, where silence reigned supreme, the tension aboard the UES Vanguard was a tangible force, counterpointed only by the soft hum of the ship's engines and the occasional beep of a console. Captain Nathaniel Sterling stood in the ship's strategy room, surrounded by his senior officers and advisors. The large screen at the front of the room displayed the peaceful visage of Alara, the alien whose fate might well dictate the future of human-alien relations in this volatile region of space. Alara has agreed to speak directly with the Thelmarian command, Sterling announced to the room, his voice steady despite the underlying stakes. This could be our best chance to de-escalate the situation and foster some goodwill with the Thelmarians. Commander Lucas Kane nodded, his expression reflecting the gravity of their situation. It's a solid move, Captain. Showing the Thelmarians that we're harboring a peace envoy, not a spy or aggressor, could change the narrative completely. Sterling turned to the communications officer. Lieutenant Harper, set up a secure channel to the Thelmarian flagship. Make sure there's no interference. We need this to go smoothly. Within minutes, the room was ready, the communications link established, and Alara's image was broadcast not only to the Thelmarian flagship but also internally within the ship for the crew to witness. Sterling introduced Alara, who, despite her frail appearance, spoke with a clarity and calm that was resonant and compelling. My name is Alara of Iridia, she began, her voice echoing softly through the speakers. I am a scholar, committed to the study of cosmic anomalies and the preservation of peace across star systems. The incident that led to my rescue by the Vanguard was unfortunate, a result of unexpected hostility in uncharted space. My mission is one of knowledge, not conquest. Admiral Silex, appearing on the screen from his own ship, listened intently, his deep violet eyes fixed on Alara. His face, usually an unreadable mask of Thelmarian stoicism, softened slightly as she spoke. "Your words carry weight, Alara of Iridia," Silex responded after a moment of consideration. "And the actions of the Vanguard, under Captain Sterling's command, suggest a similar commitment to peace. It is rare that we encounter others who traverse the stars with such respect for their sacred mysteries." Sterling, seizing the moment, added, "We hope this marks a beginning, Admiral. A start to dialogue and understanding between our peoples. We respect the sanctity of the Thelmare cluster, and wish only to share in the broader community of the galaxy." Silex nodded slowly, his expression contemplative. "This incident will require further deliberation within our command. However, the forthrightness displayed by Captain Sterling and the testimony of Alara have opened a door. We shall consider this in our councils and return with our decision." As the communication ended, a cautious hope lingered in the strategy room. Sterling turned to his crew, a slight smile breaking through his typically stern demeanor. "Well done, everyone. Let's prepare for their response. Continue with normal duties, but stay alert to all developments." Over the next hours, as they awaited the Thelmarian decision, Sterling walked through the Vanguard, speaking with his crew, bolstering their morale, and reflecting on the vastness of their journey, not just through space, but through the complexities of interstellar politics and cultural diplomacy. The weight of leadership was never heavier than when the stakes included not just the lives aboard his ship, but potentially the future of interspecies relations. In the medical bay, Sterling visited Alara, thanking her for her courage and eloquence. "You may have just helped avert a war," he told her, his tone imbued with genuine respect. Alara's response was soft, yet her words carried a strength that belied her fragile form. "Where there is a will for peace, there is a way for coexistence," she said. "Your people, and mine, Admiral Silex's people, we are all children of the stars, Captain. Perhaps in time, we will find our paths are not so different after all." As Sterling left the medical bay, he looked out the viewport at the stars that stretched endlessly before him. They were the same stars that had guided ancient explorers across the oceans of Earth, now guiding them across the galaxy. The cosmos, with all its mysteries and dangers, also held the promise of unity, a reminder that in the vast theater of the universe, all were connected under the canopy of starlight. The eerie silence of the cosmos enveloped the UES Vanguard, as it floated in a cautious orbit near the boundary of the Thelmar cluster. Captain Nathaniel Sterling stood by the observation deck, his eyes fixed on the star-speckled darkness outside, pondering the fragile thread upon which peace currently hung. The Thelmarian response was still pending, and with each passing hour the tension aboard the ship grew palpably thicker. In the strategy room the senior officers were assembled, their faces etched with the strain of waiting. Suddenly, the calm was shattered by a series of urgent beeps from the communication console. Lieutenant Harper, the communications officer, swiveled towards her screen, her fingers moving rapidly over the controls. "Sir, we're receiving a distress signal. It's weak, but it's definitely Thelmarian," she announced, her voice tense. Sterling's brow furrowed deeply as he approached. "On speaker. Let's hear it." The room filled with the crackling sound of the distress call, the voice unmistakably Thelmarian, laced with panic. "This is Scout Vessel T7 of the Thelmarian Guard. We are under attack. Coordinates sent, unknown aggressors. Require immediate." The message cut off abruptly, swallowed by static. The coordinates pointed to a sector dangerously close to their current location, within the sacred boundaries of the Thelmar cluster. Sterling turned to his officers, his decision clear. "We have to help them. Prepare a rescue team. We might not have official word from their command yet, but a life in danger is a priority. Harper, inform the Thelmarian command of our intentions immediately." The rescue team was quickly assembled, led by Commander Lucas Kane. As they geared up, Sterling briefed them on the delicacy of the situation. "This isn't just a rescue mission," he said, his gaze sweeping over the team. "It's a chance to prove our commitment to peace and our respect for Thelmarian lives. Be sharp and be careful." Aboard the small, agile rescue shuttle, Kane and his team raced towards the coordinates. The tension was palpable, each member aware of the stakes involved, not just the lives of the Thelmarian scouts, but the potential spark for conflict if the situation deteriorated. Arriving at the scene, they found the Thelmarian scout vessel badly damaged, adrift, with signs of weapon fire scarring its hull. Two smaller unidentified crafts were moving away at high speed, their designs unfamiliar and sleek, predatory. Kane ordered a pursuit but kept a cautious distance. Their primary goal was the safety and rescue of the Thelmarian crew. The team docked with the Thelmarian vessel, boarding with medical supplies and defensive weapons at the ready. Inside, they found chaos, systems failing, emergency lights flickering, and 3 Thelmarian crew members injured but alive. "We're here to help," Kane announced, stepping forward with his hands raised in a universal gesture of peace. His team quickly tended to the injuries, stabilizing the Thelmarian crew, and preparing to transport them back to the Vanguard for medical treatment. Meanwhile, back on the Vanguard, Sterling received an urgent transmission from Admiral Silex. The Admiral's face appeared on the screen, his usual composure replaced by a rare expression of gratitude mixed with concern. "Captain Sterling, we have received your message and witnessed your actions. This deed will not be forgotten. Your respect for our lives in these sacred spaces has been duly noted." The communication was a balm to the tense atmosphere aboard the Vanguard. Sterling responded with equal solemnity. "Admiral, we hope this act underscores our desire for peace and mutual respect. We stand ready to assist further, should you require." As the rescue shuttle returned with both human and Thelmarian survivors, the Vanguard prepared for the next phase of their impromptu mission, caring for the injured, and continuing the delicate dance of diplomacy with a newfound fragile trust burgeoning between the two species. This moment, born of crisis and met with bravery, marked a turning point, underscoring the shared values that transcended species and galaxies, the universal call to aid those in need, irrespective of past conflicts or future uncertainties. As the UES Vanguard glided silently through the dark tapestry of space, the ship's medical bay became the scene of an unprecedented gathering. The Lemurian scouts, treated with utmost care by human medical staff, lay recuperating beside panels displaying their vital signs, a testament to the fragile new bond forming between the two species. Captain Nathaniel Sterling watched from the observation window, his heart a mixture of relief and cautious optimism. In the bay, Dr. Emily Zhao moved efficiently, her team working seamlessly to adapt their treatments to the unique physiology of their Thelmarian patients. The atmosphere was charged with a focused intensity, as each member of her staff recognized the broader implications of their care. They were not only healing bodies but potentially mending the fabric of interstellar relations. The recovery of the Thelmarian scouts was swift, thanks to the Vanguard's advanced medical technology and the resilience of the Thelmarian constitution. As they regained consciousness, their initial wariness gave way to a cautious appreciation, their eyes reflecting a mixture of gratitude and surprise at the humans' efforts. Captain Sterling, seizing the moment to solidify the burgeoning trust, arranged for a formal meeting in the ship's conference room. The room was reconfigured to accommodate their guests comfortably, the air enriched to mimic the Thelmarian preference, a subtle gesture of respect that did not go unnoticed by Admiral Silex, who joined via a live comlink. "Admiral Silex, I trust you find our efforts to be a satisfactory demonstration of our commitment to peace," Sterling began, his tone earnest, standing at the head of the sleek conference table with the Thelmarian scouts seated alongside his senior officers. Silex's holographic image nodded, his voice conveying a warmth previously absent. "Indeed, Captain Sterling, your actions in the rescue of our scouts speak louder than any treaty could. We are in your debt, a situation with Thelmarians are unaccustomed to, yet find ourselves grateful for." The conversation that followed was groundbreaking. Sterling proposed a series of joint patrols and rescue drills, initiatives designed not only to prevent future incidents, but to build a framework of mutual assistance and safety in the region. Silex, intrigued, agreed to present these proposals to his council, expressing optimism about their potential. Meanwhile, Alara, the alien scholar rescued earlier, became an unexpected bridge between the crews. Her insights into cosmic diplomacy and her own experiences helped both sides navigate the complexities of their discussions. Sitting quietly at the side of the room, her presence was a gentle reminder of the broader universe's diversity and the potential for unity. As the meeting drew to a close, Sterling invited the Thelumarian scouts to join him in a tour of the Vanguard. As they walked through the corridors, the Thelumarians were shown the advanced navigation systems, the engine room's pulsing heart, and the cultural diversity of the ship's crew. Each introduction was a thread woven into a tapestry of growing intercultural understanding. The tour ended in the ship's observatory, where the vastness of space stretched out before them, stars and nebulae painting a breathtaking canvas. Sterling gestured to the vista outside, his voice soft yet carrying a profound undertone. "This is what we share, Admiral. A universe vast beyond imagining. Let our cooperation be as boundless." Silex, looking out at the cosmos through the observatory's panoramic view, seemed moved. "Captain Sterling, perhaps it is time we view each other not as potential threats, but as fellow voyagers under these endless stars. Let us take these steps together." Cautiously but hopefully. Back on the bridge, as the Thelumarian scouts prepared to depart, there were handshakes, a human gesture that the Thelumarians mimicked with a sense of newfound respect. The air was no longer thick with tension but with the promise of what might come. As the Vanguard resumed its course, Captain Sterling stood once more before the main viewport, watching the Thelumarian vessel drift away into the starlit dark. The galaxy watched, and perhaps nodded in approval. The tide had turned, not by the might of arms, but by the bravery of compassion and the willingness to extend a hand in peace across the void. The UES Vanguard drifted silently through the cosmos, its engines humming a quiet ode to the peace that now stretched, fragile yet hopeful, between the stars. Inside the vessel's main assembly hall, a sense of solemnity and celebration mingled as the crew gathered to commemorate what might very well be the dawn of a new era in human and Thelumarian relations. Captain Nathaniel Sterling stood at the forefront, overlooking his crew and the Thelumarian guests who had decided to remain on board a little longer than planned, their curiosity about human ways matched only by their desire to strengthen the nascent bonds of friendship. The hall was adorned with symbols of peace and unity, flags and artifacts from both cultures displayed side by side, a visual testament to their newfound alliance. "As we stand here today," Sterling began, his voice resonating with the weight of the moment, "we are not merely celebrating a successful mission or the avoidance of conflict. We are celebrating the beginning of understanding, the first steps on a path that we hope will lead both our peoples towards greater cooperation and shared prosperity." His gaze shifted across the room, meeting the eyes of his crew and their Thelumarian counterparts. "This journey began with uncertainty and fear, with a distress signal and a rescue. It could easily have ended in tragedy. Instead, we chose dialogue over distrust, assistance over aggression." Admiral Silex, standing by Sterling's side, nodded in agreement. His image, now familiar to the crew, was broadcasted from his flagship, the Thelumarian presence adding solemnity to the occasion. "Captain Sterling speaks true." Silex's deep voice filled the hall, his violet eyes scanning the assembly. "In the face of the unknown, your crew extended a hand of peace, proving that bravery comes in many forms. It is a lesson we Thelumarians will remember." Alara, the scholar whose rescue had sparked the initial chain of events, stepped forward. Her recovery was complete, and her demeanor radiated a serene confidence. "I stand before you as a testament to what can be achieved when hearts and minds are open. I arrived here as a stranger. I stand now as a friend, and it is a role I cherish deeply." The ceremony proceeded with the signing of several accords, agreements for mutual exploration, scientific exchange, and a commitment to notify each other of any potential threats in the sectors bordering Thelumarian space. Each document was signed with solemnity, but also with an underlying current of excitement for the possibilities they heralded. As the formalities concluded, the gathering shifted towards a more celebratory atmosphere. Music filled the air, a mixture of human and Thelmarian melodies blending into a harmonious symphony that echoed through the corridors of the Vanguard. Crew members and Thelmarian guests mingled, sharing stories and laughter, the language barriers slowly melting away under the universal banners of curiosity and camaraderie. Later, as the stars shifted in their ancient dance, Sterling walked to the observatory deck, his favorite refuge. The vastness of space stretched out before him, each star a beacon of potential. He thought about the road ahead, about the challenges and the triumphs that might lay in wait. Turning back to the hull, he watched his crew, humans and Thelmarians alike, celebrating together. It was more than just a moment of peace. It was a spark, a hope that perhaps this corner of the galaxy could serve as a model for others. And as the Vanguard set its course back towards Earth, its mission accomplished and its cargo one of hope, Sterling felt a profound sense of fulfillment. They had charted more than just star maps and trade routes. They had charted a course for future generations.